Good evening, everybody. This is Jerry here on JS Farms. JS stands for Jesus Saves. And so today my video will be about the daily chores that I do in order to maintain the sheep flock. So today I'm going to show you our system. We've been working this system for about 3 months. This is the Premier One net fencing. And I don't work for Premier One, but this style of net fencing, I gotta say, is great. It is durable, tough, and effective. The sheep are trained to it, and basically I just moved them into this paddock, and it takes 30 minutes to set up the next paddock, get the water out, check their mineral, feed the dog every day. So, and that includes taking our lawnmower, the bad boy lawnmower, and clipping all this broom sedge down in order what I hope to be exposing the grasses that we want to grow next spring. So today's November 20th, and I just built that paddock up there. It takes about 18 minutes for one person to set that up. And I used to put corner posts on every one of them to hold it tight, but now I found a new method. I'll show you in another video that I don't even need these corner posts. This one did not come out exactly rectangular. Sometimes, you know, not all paddocks are perfect, but you get better as time goes on. But again, my chores when raising this flock is you got to move the sheep every day, check the water, feed the dog, get a good count on them, and give them a fresh patch of grass every day. So that's all there is to it. Now, in the back of my mule, I have the dog feed in a watertight container. And Stella she eats a lot of table scrap, so she doesn't get, we don't go through a sack of dog feed a month because today she ate some deer scraps I had left over. You got to have the old water igloo. It's a 5-gallon that I noodle water to them every day. This bucket is actually cat food, and then this bucket is mineral. And so the feed store was out of mineral, so I just have them salt. And every day I take a cup full of this salt or mineral and I put it in their tub. And that, you know, that's all there is to it. So I said all that to say these sheep are not burdensome at all. You know, if we were raising cattle, we'd have to have perfect perimeter fencing. We'd have to have a ton of water every day, and it's just a lot more labor with the cattle. You got to have a whole lot more equipment. And the Lord blessed me. I bought this mule from my good friend and pastor Brett, and you know, you would need a four-wheeler just to go back and forth from the house. But I have this mule, and I drive back and forth in it. Put my rubber boots up here when it's raining. Got my wet weather gear. But anyway, that's all there is to the sheep. I mean, you just move them to fresh grass. They get a little bit of water and a little bit of mineral or salt, and they give you up to 2 to 3 to 4 babies a year. And a friend of mine was asking me, do I put them in a barn in the winter? No. These hair sheep are adapted to the winter time, just like Stella. She's got a big coat. I am thinking about doing a little sled house for Stella just because I love her so much. But that's not necessary either. You know, if it come 6-inch snow out here, I'd lay some hay down just so they could bed in it, but they wouldn't eat it because they like all this other stuff. And this field is full of sheep forage. And again, we're clipping it just to expose all these other grasses. We're also cutting down Samuel. He's my tree cutter. Every now and again, you'll notice that I'll leave one of these trees. Right here, as Daddy would know the type of tree this is, being a forester. I think this is a cedar tree, probably the old eastern red cedar. But that will grow up to give them some cover in the wintertime and shade in the summertime. I think it's important that they have shade. And every now and again, we'll leave one of these trees. Right here is an old sweet gum, I think. You know, it's winged out like an elm maybe, but I call it a sweet gum. You see the sheep have ate all the leaves off of it, but we're leaving it here, a tree every now and again, in order to give them some shade as I clip through the pasture. And I'm just going over this pasture like a fine-tooth comb. You know, where the holes at, where the animals would, you know, if a predator got through a hole in the fence or something, you got to check the flock. The Bible says to know the conditions of your flock. And that's a tip for leadership, and that's a tip for anybody who's a shepherd. To know the condition of their flock. Check on your animals and make sure that they're healthy and got water and happy. And that's what Jesus is doing right now for us here on this earth. He knows his sheep. He knows where they're at. He knows where we're at. And he's checking on us. So to wrap this video up, what are the sheep chores every day? Build a paddock. We're using the Premier One net fencing. We've used it about 3 months now. You could do 1 poly wire, 2 poly wires, depends on how well your sheep are trained. And that takes no time. The next step would be to check their water and check their feed your dog. And last but not least, turn on the charger. This is electrified fence and the charger is on. You see that green light flashing? This is a solar charger. I face it towards the sun, and in the morning I rotate it towards the sun that comes up in the south, and in order to keep its charge. So one of these days, if I get Sam out here with me to record it, I'll show you how to set up the paddock. It's not much to it. I learned all this off YouTube. So with that said, I'll show you Margaret. I don't name my sheep because I might eat one day, but this one is a new buddy. This is Margaret. Her mom had a single. That black one just went up through there. And that's our ram. That's our ram's first offspring. So she favors her daddy to me. What's cool about her is she's got a little white tip. Quit, Stella. She's got a little white tip. You hear her mom calling her. Stella, quit it. She plays with them. You hear that mama sheep talking to her. What's cool about this little Margaret here is her front 2 hooves are gray and her back 2 hooves are black. Really neat. So we're looking forward. This big girl right here, if she doesn't have an offspring pretty soon, she's gonna find her way to the packing plant along with old Brownie over there. So girls, time is ticking. So you better make a decision. Just like you should make a decision to follow Jesus, because time is coming. One of these days you're gonna come back, may come back tonight. So if you hadn't made that decision to trust in Jesus for your salvation, do it today. So that's all for tonight. I hope all of you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. God bless you.